Morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Hot on the Open, taking a look at all the action that's happening here in the U.S. markets. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Let's jump right in and take a look at what's occurring. The Dow Jones right now trading down 15 off of its worst level so far. Very tight range this morning, 20,630.70. Again, in the battle zone, folks, that 20 and 50-day moving average, you're seeing resistance come in on the green line. That's the 20-day at 20,710, support at 20,507. So literally you have a 200-point range right now that the Dow has been sitting in over the last basically 2 weeks. So the battlegrounds, the lines are drawn. At this juncture, you're going to need a catalyst. That could be after the meeting with President Trump and the current president of China today. It could be on tax reform. It could be healthcare. It could be an economic piece of data, which really the one that's going to be watched the most this week is going to be non-farm payrolls at the end of the week. Again, there's going to have to be something that's going to have to move this market out of this range. Right now, it hasn't transpired. Taking a look at the S&P 500, again, tight range below its 20-day moving average. Though it actually settled on and now is below its 20-day moving average at 2,358. That's where the 28-day is. It's at 2,355.60, down 320. Again, tight range right now. There is a lot going on, not only here in the U.S. but the world. And meaning you have elections in France, you have the Greek tranche still not released yet by the Eurozone. You have retail sales that beat in the Eurozone. You had car sales, though, yesterday miss here in the United States. You have Japan with the yen currency weighing on the market there, pulled back pretty considerably, almost 1% overnight. So you have a lot of fluctuations going on, but it's been very tight, very concise. We got to see some data, some policy going through right now. Taking a look at the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ has been the best performing index so far in 2017. It continues to stay at near its highs, above its 20-day and 50-day moving average. So this clearly is an index in a sector, the tech-heavy sector, that is in favor with the bulls. The bulls are in control, so we'll continue to watch that. What also is notable is that there seems to be some consensus, or at least, I wouldn't say consensus, at least a cooling right now in the action in the Russell 2000, the domestically centric index that tracks small cap stocks here in the United States. This right here is at its precipice of basically it's going up or down. Right? Wow, that's in relation to its 20 to 50-day moving average. So nothing that we're revealing here that's huge in terms of where the market's going to go. But the bottom line is that policy is going to drive this market. It's either going to be tax reform, healthcare, a combination of both. And then also what is occurring as far as growth factors and other factors. What's notable overnight, the interim South Korean president came out and basically was making statements post what we've heard from the Secretary of State, what we've heard from President Trump, and so forth, that there is concerns about North Korea, that this is real. And so there is a lot of not only tension on the Korean Peninsula, but you're also seeing it, and it's going to be discussed between China and the United States today when both presidents get together, and they're speaking today, as a matter of fact. So we'll see how that all plays out. But right now, let's see what's actually hot on the market. And there's a couple notable names that I want to bring up. The first one is going to be Caterpillar. Caterpillar actually has been below its 20 and its 50-day moving average in this grind, but basically the bears have taken control since the beginning of March after they dropped through. And bottom line is that until we get some sort of infrastructure play, until we start to get some sort of idea of whether or not this is going to transpire in 2017, how the scope and scale of the project, is it really going to be that $1 trillion project? At the end of the day, we haven't heard anything yet from the Trump administration, but on Goldman Sachs put it on their conviction buy list this morning. That has the stock up 1.18% at 93.36. So a nice move up. But again, no other catalyst other than being moved to the Goldman Sachs conviction buy list. As a matter of fact, when I do look at Caterpillar, the options, basically the implied volatility rank is right around 17. So there's not a heightened expectation of big violent moves. But with that being said, the options right now are pricing in through the remainder of this week $1.34 as far as potential range. So in this $93 stock, you're basically looking at roughly around a 1% move, a little bit less than that for the remainder of the week, and it basically has moved that much to the upside with this current move being moved to the conviction buy list at Goldman Sachs. NVIDIA has been the darling of 2016. In 2017, it has basically been a grinder. As a matter of fact, you see that the stock has been basically in a range between 100 and 120, and now over the last couple of weeks is basically between 100 and 110, specifically almost 105 to 110. It broke through its 20 and 50-day moving average today with this pullback after a downgrade. It's down $4.30 or 3.94%. At 104. Right now, the options are the IV rank, which is that measure I used for expectation of big violent moves. The higher that number is, the higher the expectation of potential violent moves. It's at 43% right now. The options for the remainder of the week are pricing in a $2.67 move. This downgrade today moved it outside almost 2 times that expected range for the week. So you can see that the bears have taken action here. We'll see how it settles on the remainder of the day. See if it tries to take back that 50-day moving average, which is coming in at 104.72. That's resistance now on NVIDIA. Also, what's moving to the downside this morning is Bank of America on a downgrade. Bank of America is trading down 18 cents. Again, off of its worst levels that we saw on the pre-market after the downgrade was announced and after the open. Bottom line is that we're going to watch financials very closely. The bonds have firmed up, and when the bonds firm up, in other words, prices are going up both on the 2-year, the 10-year, and the 30-year, that means that that's going to put pressure on the financials. They like to have higher yields. There's been a lot of talk about how many rate hikes the FOMC is going to continue to do. Is it 3? Is it 2? Right now, there's a 93% probability that it's going to be between 75 basis points, which is where it's at now, to 100 going into the May meeting. But basically going over 100 is less than 8%. Now, it goes up to 53% in June. So there is a potential for a rate hike in June. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, we'll be watching the non-farm payrolls at the end of this week. That could also move Bank of America as well as the bonds. Finally, Google. Alphabet has been moving. It had been challenging the upside, got above its 20-day moving average, and then has pulled back down almost 0.7% at 0.68%, down 582 again on a downgrade at $850.93. Right now, you see that the stock is trading right at its 50-day moving average or right below it, so that's resistance. The options right now are running in an implied volatility rank of 39. So there is obviously a heightened expectation of potential moves. Anything over 50 is telling me that there is an expectation of a violent move. Anything that gets into the 60, 70, 80% or higher, that's telling me that you need to find out why that violent move is being priced in. Whether it's earnings, and that could be a violent move either up or down. Volatility is not biased to directional opinion. But here you're seeing that the market was in that battleground. It continues to be in that battleground. The options are pricing in an $8.67 move for the remainder of this week. It's already moved $5.82, happens to be the downside on this downgrade. Let's see if that continues. Tech has been the catalyst for the continuation of the upside, both in the NASDAQ, and it's been holding up the S&Ps as well as the Dow Jones. So we'll see if that continues with this most recent downgrade of Alphabet. All right, folks, that is it for What's Hot on the Open. We will be back at 1:30 Eastern Time. I'm going to cover some cool strategies that you could start utilizing in your portfolio. So join me at 1:30 Eastern Time here at MarketStream.live. See you then.